Hi there, and welcome to my first ever guide on starting to make gold before Warlords of Draenor. This is aimed at people that have never really looked at making gold before, that have just plodded along in the game, making gold the usual way through dailies and things like that, but actually want to look at actively maybe making some more money and a little nest egg before Warlords of Draenor drops, or so that they can afford the latest enchants and things like that on their alts when they boost them to 90. So what I'm going to do is create a video to go with the article on the highheelsandgreatdeals.co.uk website that will kind of help you and show you the building blocks of how it's done. Now, this won't make you thousands and thousands of gold, but it might make you enough money to pay for your enchants after a month or so. But the main thing really is to learn how to make money in the game, and the building blocks to do that. And what we're going to do that is by creating a completely new character, running it to level 10, and what we're looking to do is to take on the professions mining and also tailoring, because what I want to show you is how we can use a gathering profession to make money by looking at the prices within a market and how we can set prices properly rather than just putting it on for the lowest amount, and how those prices will change even in a short time of a week. And then also a production profession, so that we can really start capturing how to make money from a production profession. The idea of making it for a certain amount, selling it for a higher cost, and use that to generate incomes even at low levels. So we'll see that the first couple of levels of tailoring can yield you a fair amount of money. As I say, I've broken these videos down into some smaller chunks to make it easier to pause, stop, listen again and things like that, and hopefully I'll take you through from the very beginning right through to making maybe 1,000 gold or so by the end of the first weeks, probably a couple of thousand by the end of week 4. So what we'll do is we'll jump straight into the gold, making gold, and to do that, as I said, we're going to need to level up to I'll just remove the I forgot to turn that off, so we're going to probably get lots of guild invites through this. And what we want to do after that is to level our character up to level 10 and make sure that we take mining and also tailoring. Here you can see that what I've done is I've used my 100 gold to buy myself 4 netherweave bags. So what that's left me with is 4 bags and 38 gold, 58 silver and 32 copper. So as long as we get to the end of our little tutorial of how to make things in a week or so, and we've made more than 100 gold, we've got our money back for time. But time does cost, so we need to make a lot more than that to actually make it worthwhile. So see you in a bit. Thank you. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you've managed to level up to level 10 here on my character. You can see I'm level 10. And I managed to get about 27 skill points in mining. If you look at my bags as well, I've got about 3 stacks, nearly 4 stacks of ore and 1.5 stacks of linen. I also kept some gems, some malachite out, just in case we can sell those as well. I was a bit disappointed with the number of linen stacks that I got, but then again, leveling so much quicker now, and if you did it with heirlooms, I'd imagine you have less than that. Anyway, what we're going to do now is we're going to set up the auction house. So hopefully you've got your auctionator add-on loaded, and if you have, you'll now have these buy and sell tabs. You'll have a more tab which we won't go into, but at the moment, if you just want to have a quick little setup of it, we'll go into options and auctionator, and we'll look at the basic options, and what we'll set is the default duration of our auctions to 48 hours. That's all I'm suggesting at the moment. I'll do other videos on this if people want them, and we can look at Auctionator in more detail. I like it just because it's easy to sell. So what we want to do first off, as we said in the task, is just to start looking at the actual auction house itself and what the prices of things are. So I will go to the Sell tab, and here, then I'm just going to drag my stack of ore up, drop it in there, and see what's on the auction house. So if you have a look at my screen now, what we've got is we've got a couple of bits and bobs at below 90, and then we've got people stacking 10 stacks of 20 at 90 silver and 16 stacks at 1 gold 25. So that's really flooding the marketplace, which isn't necessarily great for us, but if I was then going to post an auction, I'd be looking at stacks of 10 or stacks of 20 just under the 90 silver mark. So that'll be my sell price if we sell copper ore today. If we look at linen, we'll do the same with our linen cloth. We'll just drop that in, and you can see that you've got 4 stacks at 10 silver. So really, I mean, that's nothing at all. It's quite interesting. After 2 hours of leveling, I managed to make 66 silver and 12 copper, selling everything I had. But what's interesting is that you've got the reason we're looking at this is we'll look at when we produce things as a tailor. That really you should be looking at anything under. I'm just looking at the screen there. Most of the stuff is under. You've got stacks under 50 silver. Anything under there is probably a really good price and worth buying up. So that's what we could sell things for today, and if you just slapped them on the auction house now, you get some money, but what we want to look at is how you can get more of that. Okay, so just going back, I'll just drop the copper in there again, and you can see that going back to our list, we're looking at 90 silver for copper ore, if we were selling that. If we now look at our copper bars, so I'm going into my search tab at the top there, and copper bars, we'll search that. You can see here that surprisingly copper bars are cheaper than the copper ore, and really what we're looking at is stacks. The first stack of 10 is at 50 silver, 2 stacks at 51 silver, 59. Normally on this realm I would be selling copper around about 120, so perhaps we've just got people flooding the market at the moment. So when it comes to selling things today, what we'll probably do is we'll put some stacks of ore on rather than selling bars. Having said that, what I am going to do is I'm going to smelt probably at least 2 stacks of my ore anyway, because I want to hold those over and start selling bars. Having said that, if we then look at the bar prices, we were able to get copper ore pretty much every time. Copper ore for around about under 90. So at the moment this market isn't profitable to smelt in, which isn't great for a demonstration video, but you get the idea of why we have to look at both, because we can do one and then the other. Okay, so that's really setting up our auction house. What we're doing is we're looking at prices for copper ore, we're looking at prices for copper bars, we're looking at linen cloth, and the other one we want to have a quick look for is bolts of linen cloth. Because what you'll find is a lot of people will dump stuff at the end if they're not needing it, if they're leveling, and you can often pick up bolts of linen cloth cheaper than you can the actual linen cloth itself. In this case, it's a bit too high for us. What we've got is we can make our own. So what we'll see in the next video is we'll see us smelting some stuff to increase our profession skills, and we'll start putting things on for auction. I'll see you for task 3. Thank you. Okay, and welcome to task number 3, where we're looking at ores and bars. When we looked at our auctionator tabs and we were looking at the copper ore, we were in the rather strange position, which doesn't happen very often, of ores being more expensive than copper. Having said that, what I still want to do is I'm going to mine a couple of stacks, because what I would like to do is level my mining so that we can do a bit more with it when it comes up later on. So I'm going to do... just going to create 20 stacks of copper to start with. So I'm making my bars there. And the reason for leveling mining is because when you get to things like being able to make bronze, which takes a little bit more effort than some people want to do, you can usually sell the bars for higher than that. And the same things as when you can get enough to smelt iron, you're able to turn iron into steel. And again, while they don't sell quite as much as other bars, usually the markup on that is worthwhile. I'll just do another, don't want 119 bars there. I'll just do another 20. So that'll give me some more still to sell, and also I'm going to put some bars on anyway, just to see if they sell. And we'll take a bit of a risk because this is a trial project and we want to try and make as much money as we can with our skills. So we'll see what happens. So while that's doing, I'll just wait for them to finish doing. Head over to the mining trainer, and then we'll skill up. So pretty much my skill is now 49. Half of me is tempted just to make one more bar, so I get to 50, but there'll be other opportunities to do that. So at the moment, can I smelt bronze and tin? No, I need 50. I'll do one more bar. Always the way. So we'll just smelt one more. Oops, let's crank it until we go up there. Gonna let me. Just make 10 more bars. There we are, we're up to 50 now. Brilliant. So what we can then do is we'll try.
We will persevere.
Smelt my bronze, and I've got bronze and tin.
We will have justice.
So now it's heading to the auction house. Great thing about Silvermoon is there's two, so we can. The great thing about monks is we've got roll, so we've got two auction houses to change from. So because we picked tailoring and mining, we're going to have to swap between the two, so it makes it quicker to sell. So you've seen the bazaar one, and now we've got this one over here. Well, what we'll do is we'll pop on some copper bars, some copper ore, and I'll sell that malachite as well that I've got, and we'll see what we get when we come back. So go to my sell tab, let's put on a stack of copper ore. The last ones were 90, so if we price at 89, I don't know, 99, might as well do that, someone will buy it. And so we've got one stack of 20 there, and then we're going to now look at some copper bars. This one I'm going to take a bit of a risk at because I think copper bar is going to sell a lot. So I pretty much, what do we sell we sell the ore, we put the ore on for 89, 90, so 90 silver. So let's try, because it doesn't really matter if it doesn't sell the first time because we're in this for the long haul. Let's put some, someone's put them at 97.50. It's quite so let's put them at, let's put them at 97.40, say. And we're going to put on 4 stacks, and we'll go from there. And we'll see if they sell. Okay, and that's it for this task. And we'll move on to tailoring and see if we can sell something in there as well. Thank you. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, in task 3 we looked at the ores market and the bars market, and hopefully you've now put some gold on, well, you've put some either copper ore or copper bar onto the auction house, and then we're going to now look at the tailoring profession. One of the reasons I picked a Blood Elf and Silvermoon is that there's only one person in the game, which is this Andra the Clothier, that actually sells things like cloths. Not sure why, but she's there. So I've got 6 linen cloths here, which I can pick up for 50 coppers, which I'm worth doing. So I'm just going to buy all of those out. We'll see what else she's got. She's also got some silk cloth, and for me, it's always worth buying everything up because you can buy that a lot cheaper than you can normally get it on the auction house. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to the tailor, and we're going to start leveling the professions. Oh, I forgot I've got my role as a monk. I must get used to that. There we go. And we're over at tailoring now, and what we're going to do is look at our tailor.
We will have justice.
Pull up tailoring, and what I've got there is I've got 19 bolts of linen cloth, so I'm just going to create all of those. while that's going, what we're then looking to do is make things that are going to be useful to people that we can sell. So off the straight bat, I would think white linen shirt is going to be the first thing that we make. Brown linen shirts as well, and we'll just try selling some of these shirts and see where we're going to. The main reason that we're doing that is because things like the linen pants and linen cloak you may make for yourself while you're leveling, but people are very rarely going to buy those unless they're a well-known transmog item. So what we're really looking for is we're looking to sell things to people that are going to want to complete transmog, because since that's come in, obviously there's a lot more interest in the lower level items, mainly for colours. So what we're going to do is we're just going to train some more of those. And if we look at the level, we need to get to level 40 before we get some more shirts.
Farewell.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my tailoring again and see where I can get to. If I had more cloth, I'd be not wasting my skill points, but for the moment what I'm just going to do is I'm going to make a brown linen shirt and a white linen shirt. I'll probably make two of those, so I'm going to need some coarse thread and some bleach, which I should be able to get from my tailor supplier across the road.
Gold is welcome here.
So we'll get some coarse thread, a couple of threads of that, and some bleach, 2 lots of bleach, and 2 lots of coarse thread. And then what I can do is I can make two brown shirts and 2 white shirts. And that's all I'm going to do for the moment, because I just don't think anything else is going to be interesting. One thing I did mention was it's worth installing Mogit. And what I'm just going to do is I'm going to pause the video now, log out and back in so that you can see how useful it is. I've just realised I haven't switched that on. So we've now got Mogit installed, and that's going to be more useful when we start crafting some of the other things. Funny enough, other than shirts. But at the moment, what you can remember, you can always you can hold down Control and right click on your shirt to see what it is. So now we've got this brown shirt, we've got this white shirt, which are good little things just to see if we can sell those. Yeah, I want to close that set. So what I'm going to then do is head over to the auction house, and I'm going to put them up for sale, and we'll look at how we're going to price these, because we'll look at competition in the auction house for those 2 items, and then we'll also look at how we're going to price to counteract that. So again, we'll go to the sell tab, I'll drop in a brown linen shirt, and you can see this is a bit of an old set of data, but it was last done for 2 gold. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to try it. Let's try it for 5 gold, let's say. As there's nothing on there, for 48 hours, and I'll create that auction. I'm just going to sell one, and we'll do the same for a white shirt. There, someone's selling it for 35.24, so perhaps I've undersold my brown one there, but that's okay. What we said we'd do is we'll go for 23.99. We'll just drop it by a copper, and we'll see if that sells. So that's really what you want to do to start with for the shirts, and we'll just see what sells and what doesn't. Interesting thing with tailoring and transmog is it does take a little bit of time to get used to your markets and what you're going to do with them. As I said at the end of the copper and ore one, you're just going to have to wait and watch the markets for a little bit to know when the best times to buy and the best times to sell are. We mentioned that in the very last bit of these sort of tutorials. What you can look for is the ebb and flow. But what you need to just start doing now is recording the prices of what you put things on for, what sells and what doesn't, just so you have an idea for how your market is working. And that's the end of that particular task. And what we're going to look at in the final one is what you do when things are sold and how you get raw materials. I've alluded it to in earlier videos, but it should become self-apparent what to do next. Also, as you level up your professions, you'll get access to more and more things that you can use, and it'll expand your gold making opportunities. We wanted to start very simply and very basically, and we'll see how that goes. And so I'll see you in the task 5 video. What do I do next? Hi there, and welcome to Task 5 on our beginner's guide of starting to make gold before Warlords of Draenor drops, this little project that we're trying to do just to show you how you can make gold on the auction house. So where we're up to now is we posted our our first lots of ore and our first lots of tailoring, and hopefully we'll see if we sold that. I know the answer to that on my character. The only thing that sold in the first one was the ore. So what I've done is I relisted the copper bars that we made and relisted the shirt. The white shirt this time, I always felt it was a bit high at 30 hard gold. Just felt a bit much for a very low level item, so I listed it at 5 gold, same as our brown shirt. And we'll see how we've done. So, yep, excellent. We've sold a little bit of the malachite, we sold the shirt for 5, and the copper bars, and everything like that. So we'll just collect our gold. The auction house, which is looking good actually. So if you remember the project, we started with an initial fund of 100, and where are we up to now? We're up to 101, so we're 1 gold up just after 2 lots of sales. What you can see in my bags now is you can see some linen cloth and some wool cloth and silk cloth, and also I picked up some tin ore and copper ore, mainly because when I visited the auction house they were selling them for about, the linen ore for about 5 silver a stack, and someone was just dumping a bit of copper ore on the auction house. What I'm going to do is, I can't help it, I'm a creature of habit, I'm going to run and find our friendly Andra the clothier. And let's see what she's got.
Here.
She's got some silk cloth, which I always buy up because that's cheaper. And bolts of silk cloth. Okay, that'll save us a little bit later. So having done that, what we're going to now do is head over to the auction house, because we're at that stage in the project where actually what we've done now is we've run out of things to craft and things to sell. So what we're looking to do is pick up linen cloth cheaply so that we can level up our tailoring profession. And also we are looking for things like copper ore or tin ore to do as well. So if I head over to my buy tab within Auctionator, what I actually did is I set up for Fawn a mining group, and in there I put my search terms that we typed in last time in one of the earlier tasks, to make things easier. So if I look at copper ore, that's selling at 85 silver a stack, which seems a little bit high. But the bars are going for about 140 now, so yeah, we're going to make 50% profit on that, so maybe we will smelt a couple of those. So yeah, 80 plus, well, it's 140, I'm never good at maths, but yeah, we'll make about 50% after the cut from the auction house. So what I'll do is I'll buy 1 stack of that for the moment, to go with the 8 I had already. I'm also going to now look at tin ore as well. That's selling at 62 silver, so I'm actually going to buy 2 of those because I want some tin bars. Because if we take the 62 and the 85, that's 140. So you'd think it's 140 to make 2 bronze bars, so that's 70 gold to make 2 bronze bars. It's currently selling at 75, but there's only 1 stack of 20, so I reckon we can push that price up to about 150 for some bronze bars, because they will sell for anyone levelling things like jewel crafting or things like blacksmithing, obviously. So I think it probably, if we can, be worth making at least a stack of bronze bars to sell. If we then look at what we're doing on the tailoring, we look at the linen cloth there. Oh, blimey! Bolt of linen cloth 5. We'll just buy that up because that's next to nothing. And let's just buy anything under 10 because that's ridiculously priced. I'm not going to buy the 5 stacks. We could do. If we look at shirts, there's we got brown shirts not sold, and the white shirt there's one for 33 on, so perhaps we can put another one on for 5. So while I'm here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this, and I'm just going to list it. I'm going to try them. I sold it for 5. Let's go for 6. 80. Let's see if that sells at 48 pounds. Excellent. So we've got no ore to sell, no bars, and we need to do a little bit more crafting. Maybe create 1 more white shirt, level up our crafting, and see where we get to from there. So what I'm going to do is just duck out of the video now, and we'll have a look at what the where we're up to once I've finished leveling the crafting professions. So see you. Okay, welcome back to the task 5 thing. I was just going to have a quick little look at mining. At the moment you can see from the stuff that we've bought, what we've managed to do is smelt all the tin bars down. They on their own are not going to sell very much because they're not used in too many of the professions to level. What we've managed to do is create about 3 stacks of 10 for the bronze bars. I'm keeping 10 lots of copper bars because I want to sell those and keep money ticking over. But if we have a look now at our the mining trainer, this is one of the bits that you may have to put a bit of capital money in to level. But ideally, what we want to be able to do is get to level 125. So we're smelting iron. We're changing iron into steel so that because usually iron gets dumped on the auction house quite cheaply. Very few people buy steel, but it's just a piece of coal from the from one of the vendors next to it, and then you can sell that for much better. It doesn't sell in the quantities of, say, something as copper, but actually you can make quite a good markup on it. So what we want to do is we want to level mining, but here we've hit the first sort of snag. So you can see here that at the moment bronze has turned green in terms of the skill points, and silver is currently there on orange, which is why if you go to the auction house you'll often see silver ore very expensive in terms of leveling up, because this is the first sticking point for this particular profession. So we've got to get those last 19 skill points. So what we're looking to do is probably look at some silver ore and pick it up cheaply as we can on the auction house, just so that we can level mining. We can then turn it to silver bars and sell it again. The same we can do with gold down here as well. But our aim over the next week or so is to try and get our mining up to around about 125, so that we can do quite a few transmutes, i.e. well, not transmutes, that's alchemy, but we can turn copper and tin into bronze, and we can turn iron with some coal into steel, and that will give us a good basis. You can see how you can start building up potentially a portfolio within the bars and for controlling the markets there. So I just wanted to show you that on the mining side, and then I'll do the same in a second on tailoring when we start leveling that profession. So again, I'll see you in 2 shakes of a properly shaky tail feather thing. So hi there, welcome back to task 5. You can see we're now at the tailoring trainer. I've made all my linen cloth. I've managed to level tailoring up to 45 and bought the various patterns that you can train with. You can see after going to the auction house and buying all our materials, we're back down from having made 101 gold, we're back down to 56, so we've got some doing to make sure that we catch that up. But if you're not buying stuff to make stuff, you can't make money on it anyway, so don't worry too much about that either. So if we look at what we've got linen bags, which is absolutely not worth buying at all because you can get them in the game. Simple dress is quite interesting. When you cook it, you feel pretty. It's probably worth making 1 or 2 of those and trying to sell those. The reason I said to install Mogget, the add-on, is when you get any green items such as the brown linen robe, you can look at it and go, is that something that someone would want to buy for transmog? Brown linen robe, not sure that looks that fantastic, but I'm going to make one to try it anyway. If we look at the white linen robe, yep, white and purple, that seems to be much better, so that's something that we'll make 2 of and try and sell those as well. Again, brown linen vest isn't a green item, so it won't show up in Mogget. Linen belt, no. Heavy linen gloves is. They don't look that special, so I'll probably ignore that. And then what we also got was the blue linen shirt, red linen shirt, and we'll make 2 each of those to continue on sort of the path to leveling up the profession and producing at least all the shirts, so that we can sell those for about 5 gold each. Particularly at this lower level, it's a good little source of income. So what we'll do is we'll make all those things, and then I'll pop back and shoot the video of how much I'm pricing, because we'll look at the pricing model. Okay, welcome back to task 5. It's been a bit of a strange one with lots of interruptions, but now we've done our smelting for our bars, and we've done our tailoring to get some things to sell. So we're going to now head over to the auction house, open and sell things. So first of all, let's look at our bronze bars. As we said, there are 1 stack on 75. Let's try selling these for about 150 today. So double that price. Let's see where we get to. So we'll put 3 stacks of 10 on so that people can just buy just the amount that they want. I kept back a stack of 10 for the copper bars because here it's going quite expensive, so let's go for 144.99. Let's try and sell 10 there because that keeps everything ticking over. Next we'll look at the white linen robe. So someone previously has sold on this server for 25, but this is I think this is much nicer. If you look at that in the transmog, I think that's probably worth at least 10 gold. Also someone, and we'll just see if that sells. We'll go for the brown linen robe as well. That's not quite as good, so I think let's try 8 gold. If it sells, we can keep putting the price up until they don't. So then we'll put a white shirt on, which we did that in the last video, didn't we? So let's put a red shirt on. No one's selling these again. Let's go for 680. Because that's what we're going to sell our shirts at. Blue shirt. There's one for 21 there. Let's stick to our 680 just to make sure it sells. And then we've got a simple dress. 49. Okay, it's showing a buy at price at 49.50. Let's stick with that and let's just see if that sells. Okay, so that's all we need to do at the auction house, and then it's a question of repeating the cycle, going back, taking your proceeds of your sales, buying materials, and slowly levelling up your professions. As I say, for mining we're trying to get to that magic 125 mark, and for tailoring it's as high as we can go. But at the moment, in tailoring we've got some sort of things that might make us anywhere between 5 and 15 gold per sale. That's not too bad to keep us ticking over. So hopefully, what we'll do is we'll keep going this, logging each day for 5 minutes, just checking the mailbox, and then, as I've said before, we're just going to be checking the prices of linen, cloth, and so on, and buying those up and turning those into things that we're selling. And for the mining, we said we've got to look at copper ore. If we can turn that around and always make a profit, that's great. Or we can do that with tin ore. We'll buy less of that over time because the only thing we're interested in is making these bronze bars as well. As we said before, if we look at silver ore, which we talked about being expensive, you can see somebody's taking advantage of the bottleneck. Everything's around about 8 gold, so we may have to do a bit of a big outlay to get there. At the moment we've still got a few skill points. We can do 1 bronze bar, so it's probably worth making a few of those and then doing the last 5 or 6 bits of silver ore. Obviously, if you're out in the wild, you can go and mine and skill up that way. However, I'm going to do it all through the auction house. The other thing I'm just going to add to our mining one now is iron ore for when we get to the magic 100 mark. So that's going to pick up ghost iron and fell iron and things like that as well. But you can see it's iron ore's at about 93 at the moment. And if we look at steel bars, you can see there are none on the auction house, so I can take that 90, add in the small amount of gold for the coal from the vendor, and probably sell that at 250, maybe 3 gold per bar for a stack of 10. But that's what we're trying to do with this part of the task now. Is it's to keep a bit of a pipeline going on your ores to bars, and then also on tailoring and slowly leveling those up. And I think within 1 or 2 weeks we should be there in terms of level the professions to the max we can go with the level that we are, which is level 10, and at least have some interesting things to make. So what we'll look at that in task 6 is how you go from there a bit further on. Okay, so in a couple of weeks' time I'll make the task 6 video and add this to this one. I'll see you back then. Hi there, and welcome back to task 6, really, the going further step. So what I've been doing is I've been working the auction house in terms of buying bars, buying ores, converting them to bars and selling them, or in the case of the iron, buying iron ore, converting to iron bars, adding some coal and making it steel. And what you can see on my bags now is that from a starting point of 100 gold before we even created the character, after 1 week I'm now at 843 gold, so that's an 8 times return on investment, which is pretty good really. Just to prove that I didn't sort of cheat, I'm just going to put up my /played on the screen. Don't know why I'm in caps there, but we're looking at 5 hours. And you have to remember that probably about an hour of that is me reshooting videos to get everything to work. So I'm pretty happy with that. So after a week, we've made 8 times our original investment with very little effort really, probably 15 minutes maximum of playing time. And you have to remember that we've been looking at a really small subset, so the only things we've sold, I've sold are copper bars, bronze bars, called the odd iron bar, and steel bars. So that's 4 parts of the mining set, and you've got things like saronite and adamantite, and you've got cobalt and all those sort of bars that go for much more money and you make much more profit on. Also from the tailoring side, that's a much slower business. As you can see, I've got a few more things left in stock, but I probably sold at least 1, 2, 3 sort of the very basic tailoring recipes for 5, 6 gold a piece, and that all adds up. I've probably got at least 100, maybe 150 gold of that total from tailoring. For some reason, these simple kilts, I'm now on my 5th one. I've sold 5 of those, which I'd never expected to do, and I'd never ever crafted them until I did this video. So it shows that you can always learn something new. Also, in my total here, I had to spend about 60 gold on 10 silver ores just so I could get my mining up. So if we now look at my professions, my mining is up to 145, my tailoring up to 98, and I can slowly keep increasing those. I need to smelt some gold. If you had a higher level miner, you'd probably go out and get that for your toon. I didn't do any of that because I wanted to be honest in what I did, which is why I ended up spending 60 gold on some silver. And if we have a look at the tailoring, really, I'm still at making bolts of woolen cloth. And even in that short amount, I could make 100 gold just from the first 100 levels of tailoring. So I'm pretty happy with that. And the thing to do now is after 1 week, that would become 2, and 3, and 4, and it slowly builds up. So I reckon after 4 weeks, you're looking at almost 2,000 or 3,000 gold we'll have made just from taking ores and converting them to bars. And that's kind of what I wanted to put across in the video, is that how easy it is to make money when you in the game without having to resort to doing all the dailies and things like that. I would think to get the same sort of, that's probably 7, 8 days of two daily quest hubs to get that sort of money with repairs and everything like that. So from that perspective, we probably spent less time than running around doing all the quests. But yeah, and that's kind of it, is how I wanted to show you what I managed to do in a week, and hopefully you've had similar results. It could be, but then you have to remember I was logging in for 5-10 minutes a day just checking prices of things. It could be that you have less playing time and you're only doing 2 or 3 trips a week, but it's still the principle's the same. And what it ends up boils down to is you know after a week or 2 or 3 weeks how much money you can sell a kilt for, or how much money you can sell a copper bar for. I know I very rarely sold copper bars less than a gold per bar. Steel was selling at 3 gold 80, and bronze was about anywhere between 150 and 2, and I know I can sell throughout the week with that. And it's using that knowledge, that's the clever bit, is that knowledge of understanding how the market will cycle over the week. So I'm now logging in on Tuesday. I couldn't do anything yesterday, so what we might see on there is still a little bit of the low ores and things like that have been dumped during the weekend, because most people play at the weekend. But I know that I can usually pick up things quickly and cheaply at the end of a weekend, and then sell them round about Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or even the first day of Saturday for a much higher cost. And we'll look at that in the next video. So that's it. I just wanted to show you how I'd done after a week, and hopefully you've done even better. But what we'll look at is some of the sort of more advanced stuff in another little video. Okay, cheers, see you in a bit. Okay, welcome back to part 7 of the video, where we're looking at the idea really of what you've learnt in the first couple of steps, which is taking a very simple profession like mining and making money from it, or taking the first initial stages of tailoring and making money from it, and then how you take that knowledge and apply it to a grander, wider scale. So what I was sort of hinting at in the last video is when you start to know the level of prices and what can be achieved, then you can do much cleverer stuff with it. So if I just pull up my my auctionator list for mining here for Fawn, you can see I've been looking at bronze bars and a couple of bars like that. So here I could look at the latest prices for bronze bars, and at the moment we've got 65 silver for a block of 4. Now, making gold is a long-term activity, so I, by rights, should really buy that up because I know that I can sell pretty much bronze at some point for one gold 50 up to 2 gold. So I could actually buy anything under. I usually do a 50% rule, so I'll be looking at anything under 75 silver I would buy and store and sell at a later point. This is what flipping is. You buy it cheap, sell it high. But I know that I've seen the bronze market fluctuate over the last week or so, and I know roughly what the prices I can get for things. So really what I would go in and I'd buy up those stack of 4 and keep buying up the cheap ones until I've got my 10 or 20 to sell. So there's no point selling smaller ones unless you're really desperate for cash, because people tend to buy them in 10s and 20s. So just by looking at bronze bar there, I know that I've got a bargain, and I'm going to make more than double on that when I sell it when the prices of bronze is higher. If we look at copper bars as well, they're around about 81. You can see that I've got one stack that I've still got to sell there for 180, so there's nothing in front of me, so I expect that to sell within the next 24 hours. People are going as high as 125, but again, I have a sort of little rule because I don't want to spend hours making 10-20% profit on things. I want 50% profit on everything I do, so really I'm looking for copper bars at 50 silver, around about that area. The copper ore is way high at the moment. We've gone back to this thing where when I shot the start of the video, where copper ore was actually higher than copper bars. I think a lot of this to do is with we've got a lot of the level 90 boost characters, so people are trying to level professions. Gold bars are selling for 180. The ores are probably higher because again it would help in the leveling process. That's what I need now to level my mining. So I will just wait until someone puts on something cheaper than there. I tend not to sell gold bars at all because they only sell in 1s and 2s and things like that. Again, iron bars, I don't really sell these, but if you look here, we've got 1 gold for an iron bar, and again, you've got 92 silver for iron ores in this case. If we look at steel bars, they've run out, so they'll be selling for 350 again. So really, what I should be doing now is I would probably even just buy, if there's 20 of them. Now, let's have a look at the iron ores. Yeah, there's stacks of 20 there, so I'll buy 2 stacks there, or even 3. So I've got 60 iron ores, and then I'll go and smelt those and turn those into steel and sell those. Tin bars, I'm not really going to push but I'm out of bronze. I've run out of everything. I've literally sold up everything. So yeah, I might buy some. Again, tin ore's higher than tin bars, which shows that people are leveling mining and trying to do it by sitting at the auction house rather than going out and finding it themselves, which is a lot cheaper to do. Well, time saving to do so. Yep, again, I might buy a couple of tin bars. I'll buy that one just so that I can then add it to my. So I've got a stack of 20 for no other reason than that I'm a bit lazy. I'll buy that stack of copper. So that means mine will sell again, and then I'll turn that into some bronze. And then I know, even though that's cheap, I'll start putting bronze on midweek through for about 150, and I expect those to sell when these stack of 7 have gone. So that's just looking at the mining side of things. And the point I'm trying to make is, once you know how a market fluctuates and you know roughly what you can sell something for, then you can start buying low and selling higher. And really, this is what flipping is. And if you imagine that we've been just doing this for the early sets of ores, if I look at my ordinary one that I use on my main auction house tune for looking at things, you can see that the actual list for ores and metals is much higher. When you've got adamantite bars going at 5 there, 5 gold, 7 gold. Cobalt's a brilliant one because people forget that it's 1-to-1 in terms of the ratio of ore to bars. Everyone thinks at higher levels you need 2 lots of ore for 1 bar, and people forget it for certain things. So I can buy it for 4 gold at the moment. I know that cobalt normally sells about the 7. It's a bit depressed, this market at the moment. So you can make up to 3, 4, 5 gold a time on selling things like cobalt. Elementium's another good one as well. You can see 680 there. Often ore is dumped around the 1 gold mark. and so on. There are some nice little ones, Corian bars for example. Yeah, that's a proper price for someone's putting in there, but often people dump them for 5, 10 gold. I would sell them for around about 70. The other great one is titanium ore. People are dumping that now at 10 gold or even less, and 2 of those will turn into a bar, and titanium bars always sell at 80, 90 upwards on pretty much most servers that I've played on. Okay, here we're looking at saronite ore, so you've got that does take 2 for 1, so you're looking at anything over 5 gold for a saronite bar. And again, we've got this discrepancy in the market, but I know that actually I could buy those at 275, all 5 stacks, and as long as I sell them for around about 5, 6 gold, I'm doubling my money. So in a sense, that's what we're looking for when we're talking about some of the advanced strategies of flipping and on the auction house, and that's how you can make money by not even having to go out and smelt and things like that. But it's learning the patterns, understanding what you can sell something for, not just putting it on for the lower price and going from there. Okay, thank you. Okay, well you've made it all the way through to the end of the video. Thank you very much for that. It's the first one I've ever made, and what I've learned along the way for myself is that actually I probably need to explain things a lot better. There are also things like add-ons that I've realised that I can't really do without, like postal, when it comes to collecting money and things like that, just from the objects you've posted on the auction house. So there's still a lot more to come from me if you want to. If you want me to. What I'll do is I'll post up a few more videos. I've had a lot of fun making these ones, thanks to Bandicam, which will be across the top as a watermark. I'll probably go out and get my own copy of that now. So thank you for looking at this project. Hopefully you've learned something along the way. If you've never made gold before and you're starting to... What it was about building blocks. As I said, it won't have made you 10,000 in a day. It made me nearly 1,000 gold in a week, which isn't bad, and I wasn't really playing it day in, day out as hard as I can. You've got to be careful though, because making gold can easily suck you into spending lots of time in the auction house and things like that, and that's fine if you want to play the game that way, but a lot of people just want to make a little bit of gold easily, and this is how you start to doing it. So the techniques that we've looked at have been all about understanding how markets work, understanding that money can be made sometimes at the lower levels, rather than it doesn't always have to be the level 90 stuff. You don't have to be crafting ghost iron ore because and smelting that. If you've got a miner, you can look at some of the lower level ores, because sometimes they'll make you a lot more money. I know that my biggest seller across all time for the last 2 months has been saronite ore, in terms of that saronite ore to saronite bars and selling those, because people have been dumping them at ridiculous prices and I've been selling them for 7, 8 at a time. Also adamantite's a great one, and as I say, cobalt never seems to ever be over sort of supplied. The other one as well is obsidian. The early Kata stuff, that ore always seems to be in ore, and also the bars always seem to be in demand. So thank you for watching. So let's have our little bit of celebratory fireworks, I think, if we can, and we'll see what we can do. Hooray! There we go. Try last one, just to signify the end of the video, and that's our fireworks done. So thank you very much for watching. I really hope that you learned something. If you did, drop me an email on the website. That'd be fantastic, just so I know that it was worth doing. But I'm sure there's more to come, and I'm sure it'll be more structured the next time I do it, because hopefully I'll get better and better at it. Thank you.